Hey guys, it's Marissa. So in today's video, I actually recreated Jeffree Star's Cremated collection look. This is off of his actual palette, and he also did a video on how to do the makeup, but I haven't watched it. I just wanted to do it myself just so I could get an idea and a little bit better practice when it comes to doing really dramatic looks. So this was actually my very first look gluing down my brows. I've never glued down my brows before for any kind of makeup look, so I think I did a pretty good job with that. It was a little bit harder to do since he obviously doesn't have any eyebrows, and I do if you've watched my previous videos, and when you get more into the video, you can see that my brows are really dark and they're naturally really thick. So it took a couple layers of the glue, and you can kind of see up close some of the hairs, but I think that's pretty normal. So to me, this is like a super drag look. Like, this is not something that I would do for every day, obviously. It's very emo, just like the whole entire like palette collection. That's the whole point of it, and I think he did a really good job with that. To me, if I were to see this look, it kind of reminds me of the band Kiss. That's what it reminds me of, just like a really super heavy metal kind of look. And for me personally, I wouldn't wear this out anywhere, especially with the super white foundation. In this video, my teeth look super yellow, which I do not like at all. It's kind of embarrassing, but that's because of the color shade of the foundation. So, but I think I still did a pretty good job with everything. It took a while. It took me about like 2 hours to do all of this, but still, it's not bad at all for a beginner like me. And I really just relied on mainly the eyeliners and stuff just to really get a clean and nice sharp line. And before we get into the video, I also am using my brand new green pig mirror. I'm really super excited that this came in. This came in the mail yesterday for me, and I'm really super happy that it didn't come in shattered or anything, because I saw a bunch of people saying that theirs did. And I really hope that they're able to get that figured out and stuff, because I have seen some people say that. But luckily for me, mine did not shatter. This is completely perfect. And I just really like it because up close you can kind of see that there is some glitter in it, but on the camera it looks like there's smudges, and it's because I just wiped it down because, you know, of everything going on. I just have to take precaution. But it's still really cute, it's really pretty, and that's basically about it. But if you want to just see how I recreated this look, then just keep on watching. So the first step that I'm doing is gluing down my brows, and like I said in the intro, I have never glued down my brows before, even for like any kind of makeup look, so this was pretty new for me, so I wasn't really sure if I was doing it right. So I really heavily coated that on, and it was just the Elmer's glue stick, you know, like the purple ones, and I just really coated that on. And then I took a spoolie or an empty mascara brush that I've never used before, like those sample ones that you get at Sephora and stuff, and I just really brushed through my brows for that. And because I naturally have really dark and very thick brows, I kind of went through a couple of coats of that glue and just going back and forth with the glue and the spoolie brush. Then I'm setting my brows with the Airspun loose face powder in the shade Naturally Neutral, and I'm just taking like a round fluffy brush for that. But then I realized that wasn't going to be enough coverage for that, so then I took that same loose face powder and I applied it with like this really round little compact circle thing. It's one of those things that are used for powders and stuff, so I think you know what I'm talking about. And that worked a lot more better for me. As you can see by my reaction, I was a little bit creeped out by how like transparent my brows were starting to look, and it just looked really weird for me. With any makeup look, I always start with my eyes first, so I'm going in with the Revolution Cut Crease Canvas Concealer. It's in the shade Halo White, and I'm just adding that as the base for my eyes. And then I'm just blending everything in using the Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge.
Oh, I know that you go, my love.
To try to cover my brows as much as possible, I directly applied that concealer on top of my brows, and I just kept applying more and more coats until I was satisfied with how much I could make disappear, if that makes sense. And I just really tried to blur out that area as much as possible.
Think I'm yours, my dreams, like trees. I hope one day they'll grow, and I want to hold your hands.
Now we're going to be be tracing the main part of our eyes, which is that really pretty like cut crease. It's like a super dramatic wing as well, if I'm explaining that right. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a Kat Von D tattoo liner. It's the waterproof liquid liner in the shade Trooper Black, and I'm just outlining around my eye and just making sure that that shape fits the best. And I'm just really just focusing on the shape, not so much how clean the lines are. And I'm just repeating those same steps one at a time to each of the eye. Now we're going to be filling in that shape using a shade from the Conspiracy palette, which is in the shade My Ride Is Here, and I'm applying that using an e.l.f. concealer brush. It's just a really fine tipped brush that's easy to fill in for me, and I'm just really taking my time adding in that nice matte black shade. And then afterwards I'm going to be adding the shade Ranch and also Diet Cola, just to really add that extra pop in the middle of my lid, and that just really adds more of a dramatic effect as well for the whole entire look. And I'm applying the other shades using an e.l.f. precision brush, and then I'll be applying those same steps to the other eye as well.
So I wait, but you hate. You have so much to say. For you, I'm true. I have so.
Now since we're done with pretty much the base part of our eyes, that's like the most important part to really make this look super clean and just dramatic, I'm going in with the concealer now for the rest of my face, and I'm just using that same one and blending everything in using the Real Techniques Beauty Complexion sponge. Then we're going back in with the eyes again just to finish all the little details and just extra little effects.
Though you know that I'm yours, my love, I think I'm gone.
But before we do go into the eyes, I'm also just adding a little bit more coverage to my neck and underneath my eyes, and just like a little bit like around the corners of my face. And then I'm just setting everything in using a matte white shade, and the shade that I'm using is actually from the James Charles palette in the shade Flashback, and that's just like the only white shade that I have, so I just used that using one of the IT Cosmetics brushes and the Real Techniques sponge again. And the IT Cosmetics brush that I was using was the all over shadow brush.
My love, I think I'm gone. Well, the day.
Now I'm just really perfecting the corners of my eyes and just really trying to sharpen and fill that in as much as possible using that same Kat Von D liquid eyeliner. And I'm just tracing the new lines that I'm going to be adding to underneath my eye as well, and just really trying to make sure that those lines are very smooth, and I'm just really trying to make it as clean as possible and also as symmetrical as possible, because it could be really easy to mess this up. So I'm just really taking my time like how I said before, and I'm just filling everything in using that same matte black shade from the Conspiracy palette, and also that white shimmery shade, which is in the shade Ranch from that same Conspiracy palette as well. And I'm just going back and forth, just blending everything out and just really trying to take my time to add as much depth and evenness as possible.
This time I'll find what you want.
I'm also adding a little bit of that eyeliner and also that matte black shade to my waterline as well, just to really darken the whole eye.
Say goodbye, but I'll kiss you one last time. Though I know that you go.
Now I'm going to be doing the upper eye details one step at a time as well, just so that way I don't kind of overwhelm myself with how much blending I have to do. So I'm just really trying to just create more outlines and basically just the same steps as what I've been doing before. With this part, you really have to focus on blending it into your face, and if that makes sense, just trying to make it blend into the white as much as possible without it seeming too harsh. So I was taking a little bit of that Diet Cola shade and just a little bit of that faded matte black shade that I was using before. I was just going back and forth, and I don't know if I had it on camera shown here, but I did blend a little bit of it in using that same Real Techniques Beauty Complexion sponge, just to really make sure that that fade effect was really coming through. This part part is what I consider to be most of like the brow part of the whole eye look. I just think it kind of looks like eyebrows, and I did a little bit mess up on this part because if you kind of look closely, they're a little bit uneven, but it was still pretty okay. The reason why I struggled with this is because this is where it was right on top of where I glued down my actual eyebrows. So if you look closely, you can really see the strokes of my brow hair. It was just really hard to create some smooth lines with that, so I was really just having a hard time blending it out as well. But then I was creating some circular shapes with that, and the kind of eyeliner that I was using was the e.l.f. liquid liner in the shade Jet Black, and I did go in a little bit more with some more black circles. But now I'm actually contouring my face using that all over eyeshadow brush and also the crease brush from the IT Cosmetics, and I'm taking the shade My Right Is Here and just really faintly just adding that on to those areas and also to my cheekbone as well, and just really trying to contour it as much as possible without it seeming too harsh. To smooth out the blend even more, I'm going back in with basically a beauty blender and just really going back and forth with whatever seemed a little bit too streaky, and obviously I was adding a little bit too much there, but I was able to fix it using that same Real Techniques Beauty Complexion sponge that I was using before. Now, since I don't have any black or white velour liquid lipsticks because those ones usually work the best, I'm just actually taking a black liquid eyeliner by e.l.f. that I was using before. I'm just outlining my lips with that, and then to fill in the white part of my lips, I'm just taking that Revolution Cut Crease Canvas Concealer and I'm just blending that in as well. Before I add on the eyelashes, I'm just adding in any extra detail, and I'm just elongating those little parts of my eye and just connecting a few little things, and then also just adding more circles onto the eye look. And then I'm just going to pop on some lashes, and I'll link everything that I used in the description below, and that is the completed look. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, if you want to see more videos like this from me or any kind of creative makeup challenges or tutorials, you can comment that down below. But if you want to see more in the future, you can also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!